How's it going, guys? Thank you for stopping by Western.ops. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Starlien Brass in this video, and I just picked up some Starlien Brass, and I just want to talk about how it's been working out for me, what my opinion is of it, and is it worth getting? I mean, it's a lot cheaper than some of the other brass, and how good is it? So let's dive into it. We'll start with doing some measurements, and then I'll just tell you how it's been working out for me so far. And then we'll get into what you have to do to get it processed to start running it right after the first time you buy it. And some of this you have to do brass prep every time pretty much, but what kind of brass prep do you have to do in order to get this up and going for the first time? Alright guys, so when you buy your brass, it's obviously brand new, clean, everything else. I didn't notice it when I bought just a pack of 100 of them, but I noticed it when I got the 250 pieces from Starline, that it kind of gives you some direction. And I guess a lot of it is kind of common sense, but it's kind of nice that they put the actual card in with it. So when they ship out, before they ship out the Starline Brass in the last process, they actually coat it with a corrosion resistor or a corrosion inhibitor on it. And what that does is it prevents the brass from getting tarnished or getting discoloration when it's sitting around or in packaging, or just if there's any moisture around it. So they say that it's not going to affect the brass body or anything else. The only thing it's going to really affect is your neck tension. So you want to clean it out from the inside of your neck, because that will act as a lubricant. So therefore you won't have as much neck tension as you normally would without it. So they say in order to get rid of that, you should put it through a neck resizer or put it through an expander ball. And I don't have a neck resizer. I full length size all my brass. So I'm going to use my Hornady 6.5 Creedmoor resizing die with an expander ball. And I'm going to put it through that. And they say once you put it through the expander ball, it's going to take off any of that corrosion inhibitor on the brass itself. And then they say you can load it from there, and you just got to clean off, depending on what kind of lube you're using. But that acts as a lubricant for when you're going to prime it for the first time, and it's going to help out with that kind of stuff. But it's not a lubing agent where you can just run it through your die. So you do have to still use a resizing die. So I'm going to use Imperial resizing die to get it going for the first time. And then this is the can that I have. Getting kind of low, so probably got to get more. But for this video, I'm going to use this. And then when I'm going to do my process, I'm going to actually run it through the Sterline using the Sterline lube. And I'm going to run it through because I can get through the whole 250 pieces in probably like 30 minutes using my press. So first, I'll take a couple pieces at random. I have a micrometer here that measures the inside of a round object, any kind of pipe or round bar or anything like that. I got a piece at random that I already pulled out, and I had it inside a reloading tray I have here. And I have some more down with my feet. So just to show that I didn't cherry pick some of the best ones, I'm going to do this one, and then I'll grab one from the bag. And you can see me grab it from the bag when I do that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the round part of it, measure that, give you the measurement, and then I'm going to spin it 25 degrees. And then I'm going to keep doing that until I get 4 sides of it. Roughly 25 degrees. I don't have a measurement on that. So my first measurement, it's almost 14 thousandths. It's 13 thousandths and 7 tenths is my first measurement. So now I'm going to loosen it. I'm going to rotate it 25 degrees, and then I'm going to close it up again. This says 13 thousandths and 7 tenths again. The next size, the next side of it is 13 thousandths and 8 tenths. And then for the final measurement, $13 thousandths and 6/10. So this one is extremely consistent. That was what, like 3/10 of a difference from between all of them. That is an extremely consistent. And from what I've seen, just messing around with it, they're all pretty much the same. So we'll put this through the die, and then we'll see if any of that changes. Which I don't foresee it changing. It probably shouldn't change. So I'll grab another piece down here. I just have a bag here full of brass. So I just grabbed one piece. There's no marking on there or anything. All right, sorry about that. I had the sun starting to come in. So, like I said, we're not measuring to see if it's exactly the same as the other one, just the consistency of this piece of brass. This is 13 thousandths. This is 13 thousandths and 4/10. 13 thousandths and 5/10. This is 14 thousandths. This is 13 thousandths and 9/10. So that was about 5/10 all around. And now just a random piece I grabbed. So next we'll throw some case lube on this, and then we'll run it through the press and see if it's any different. So we'll start with the first one. This one was one that was really consistent. I'm gonna throw a little bit on the inside of the mouth of the case and a little bit on the body. The die should not touch the shoulder. I'm pretty confident it's not going to touch the shoulder. It's just going to resize the neck and then run it over the expander ball. So I feel a little bit of resistance over the expander ball. I felt it going into resizing the neck. Did not touch the shoulder at all. So I'll wipe this off now, and then we'll measure it again. So I'm just going to wipe the outside with just a paper towel. I'm going to wipe the inside with just a Q-tip. And then now we'll measure it again. So this one was the one that was very consistent. So the first measurement, 13 thousandths and 4/10. Turn the case. 13 thousandths and 3/10. Turn the case again. 13 thousandths and 6/10. And then for the last measurement, 13 thousandths and 2/10. So still extremely consistent. Not a lot changed, but it is now perfectly round. And the inside, the lubricant or corrosion inhibitor that they shipped off with it should be taken off now. But I'm gonna still end up tumbling these brass just with water and soap, some Lemmy Shine, and then I'll get loading. But then so now after this, you just have to tamper the inside and the outside just to make it a little easier for reloading, especially using like a built-in hollow point. So I'm just gonna do like a turn on the inside, 2 turns on the inside, and then turn on the outside. Now I got a nice little transition in there, ready to load up. So this piece would be ready to load. And that's all you really have to do when you're getting the brand new brass. It's very easy, very consistent. Depending on how many you're doing at once, it can be a very time-consuming thing, or it can go pretty quick, depending on what kind of equipment you have. With the equipment that I have, it shouldn't be that long. I mean, I'll get all this processed. I'll get everything resized in probably about 30 minutes. And then once I get over to the case prep express, that'll make it very quick to deburr the brass and to tamper the inside. So, like I said, I had 100 pieces already that I've already loaded up. And I loaded up the first 50 as kind of like a test run to see how consistent it's going to shoot. And I got really good results. I was shooting like Hornady brass and then Federal brass. Both those brasses did pretty well. They were very consistent. They were, I shot really good groups out of my rifle. The part that I was having problems with is I was getting pressure signs. I couldn't get up to 2,700 feet per second. I was stuck around the 2,600 feet per second. With Varget, I was at about 2,600 feet per second before I started getting pressure signs. And then with the H4350, I could get up to about 2,650 feet per second before I started having pressure signs. Once I got close to 2,700 feet per second, I started having flattened primers. So it made me back off a little bit just to prevent that. You know, I didn't want to have any pressure issues. So when I switched over to Starlien Brass and I started loading that up, I was actually able to get more powder inside the case, which therefore gave me higher velocities without having the pressure signs. I was able to get up to 2,700 feet per second shooting H4350 with like 41 grains. I was between 41 and 41.2 grains of powder. And I was having really good velocity and really good groups. So here's the target that I had for that. Right here with the first group right here, this was with Varget, shooting about 2,600 feet per second. That's a 10 round group, and it's right under an inch. It's like 0.9. And then the next one I had down right here, this one was about 2650, shooting H4350, and that group was, I think, right under 0.7, or it might have been 0.7 inches. And then when I switched to the Starlien Brass, I started getting groups like this one. This one is shooting at 2,700 feet per second, and this was a 5-round group, and it came in under 0.5. It was 0.4 and some change. So it really was a really good group. It was like just under half inch at 100 yards, and I was really happy with that group. So my rifle seems to like the faster velocities, and it seems to do a little bit better. So I still have about 50 rounds loaded up with this, with the Starlien Brass and the H4350 at 41 grains of powder. Now that's just what my rifle can handle. Don't jump straight into that because that is definitely on the high end. Most of my manuals and even online looking, no one goes up that high. Now when I look up at semi specs, I think it's 6,300 PSI is what 6.5 Creedmoor is rated for. Most of, I think 6,200 PSI or 63 PSI. All the load data maxes out about 5,900 PSI. Now the Hornady manual shows for H4350 a max load at 41.5. I think is what it is. If I remember correctly, it's 41.5. So I stopped at 41.2. But now that's the only manual that I've seen that shows you getting that high in pressure. It shows that high of a load data. And it shows it going about 2,700 feet per second. Which I got that shooting the 41 and 40. It was 41.2 grains of powder, which I'm going to probably stick between that 40. I'm going to stick between that 40 and 41.2 is where I'm going to probably create this load for with the H4350 with the Starlien Brass, getting 2,700 feet per second. My rifle seems to really like. So my next video, I really want to make the video going through the process of making the rounds and then going out to the range and shooting the rounds. If that's something you're interested in, you want to actually see the bullets being tested, let me know. Leave a comment below, and I will make that my next video, and I will make it a priority to get that out sooner than later. And then after that, I'm thinking about making a video about my 6.5 Creedmoor, which I haven't done a video on that rifle. It was a kind of project that took me about a year or two, just because I was kind of shopping around for what I wanted, and I don't even think I've ever shown it on this channel. So if you follow my Instagram, you've seen pictures of it, but not on my YouTube channel. So this is my 6.5 Creedmoor. It's a heavy girl. It was a Remington 700 ACSD. It came with a threaded muzzle, which I put a reared in muzzle brake on it because I do shoot this suppressed. I have an Atlas bipod with the Area 419 ARCA mount. This is an MDT chassis, and it does have the built-in ARCA rail, so that's pretty nice. And then it has a full adjustable stock, pistol grip, all that kind of stuff that you know from MDT, with a primary arm scope. This is a 3-18 Hera on this one, so it's like a grid reticle and MOA. If you want to see a breakdown on the actual rifle or more review on the rifle, let me know and I can put that together as well. That rifle, I did some shopping around, and I got that down to an amazing price. I'm sub $2,000 for that rifle. So with that rifle, it should have been well over $2,000. So that MDT chassis normally goes for $1,000 by itself, and then you're looking at $600-700 for the rifle, plus scope, plus bipod, the Area 419 rail mount with the rings and everything else on the scope cost, and then also that has a Timney trigger in it. So it, on paper, it should have cost me a lot more, but I shopped around, and if you're really curious on how I got it, then leave a comment below, let me know, and we'll talk about that next. So until next time, guys, have a great day. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to get to processing all the rest of this brass so we can start working on the next video. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.